my name is Alice Dumbledore, and alas, earwax. You're watching A Reader's World. The video I will be filming and you will be watching today is the books that I read for March and April. Mapril. Is that right? But let's get started. So the first book that I read for March was The Martian by Andy Weir. And if you don't know what this book is about, the title gives it away. This book follows Mark Watney, who is stranded on Mars. Get it? The Martian. And he has to survive on there, growing his own food and doing anything he can to get NASA to notice him, and so he can stay alive. Stay alive. This book was great. It was very enjoyable. Many science stuff in here that I did not get, but I still really enjoyed. Mark Watney, man. I love him. When I started reading this book, I was kind of worried of how we were going to see how NASA was going to do this stuff. It's in the perspective of Mark, but luckily we got a third-person overview of some of the characters on Earth. The movie is also fantastic too, but it's a great book-to-movie adaptation. It's not like Percy Jackson. Mostly everything in there is right. There's some small things in there, but it's still a fantastic movie and a good book-to-movie adaptation. The Martian took me about like half, mostly all, of March to read because I was in a slow reading slump, but I was going on vacation for spring break and I knew I had to bring a lot of books. And when you're on vacation, you know you have to bring mostly good-feeling books to make you feel good. And we were road tripping to Florida, so I knew I had to bring a road trip book, and that is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. The book is really good. It's Morgan Matson. I love Morgan Matson's books because they're cutesy contemporaries, but there also is some depth. If you don't know what this book is about, this follows a young girl whose father just died in a car crash, and her family is moving halfway across the country, and her mother and brother are already there, and they want her to drive from California to Connecticut, and she has developed this fear of driving due to her father's car accident. So the mother decides to bring on her best friend's son to help Amy travel across the country, and of course they go into some mischief and discover who they truly are. Morgan Matson book. Of course I enjoyed this. But Sinjin and Yan and this book both have playlists in it, and the main character, Amy, is obsessed with musicals, which I loved, because she had a playlist in here, and it was all for musicals, and I all got it, and I was so happy, because I'm like, yes, finally a character I can relate to with my obsessions of Broadway. Also on that trip, I read Better Off Friends by Elizabeth Yulberg. This book follows a boy and a girl best friend as they decide if they're actually best friends or they're more than that. This book is just cutesy. It's fluff. There's not a lot of depth to it, unlike Morgan Matson's. Nothing negative, just it doesn't really stand out. But I do recommend this book if you have nothing else to read. It's a great thing to get out of out of a reading slump list. And those are the books I read for March. Only 3. Then here comes April. April showers bring May flowers. Yep, I can definitely see that up from the outside. For the first book I read for April was Catching a Fallen Star by Kim Culberson. This book follows a young girl who lives in a small town in California, and a Hollywood movie takes over it, and she falls in love with the movie star of that thing. I think this author was trying to go the Morgan Matson route with contemporary and depth to the characters. Can't really go depth when your characters are plain and annoying. The main character, she was just so plain and dull. Even the person she fell in love with was the same. So no wonder they got together, because they were both the same thing. So the next books that I read for April was a series that I've been trying to read for forever, and I don't know why it took me so long to read these books. Stupid me. And that is the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. Oh my gods. These books. Clockwork Angel. Fantastic. Clockwork Prince. More fantastic. Clockwork Princess. Perfection. If you don't know what these books are about, How can you watch BookTube and not know what these books are? This was the first time that I ever didn't hate. This was the first time I ever didn't really hate a love triangle. I felt each of the people in the love triangle were actually both really good characters. Not one was more annoying or one was more evil. They both were great guys. But William Herondale! But Jem, you're good. Jem, you're great. But William Herondale. After reading the Infernal Devices series, I decided to take a different route and read a very, very, very different book. And that was Me Before You by Joy Joy Moyes. This was the final book I read for April. If you don't know, this book is becoming a movie starring Finnick Odair, the girl from Game of Thrones, Clara Oswald, and Neville Longbottom. This book is basically the fandom crossover we've been waiting for. This book follows a young girl named Louisa Clark. She doesn't have a job anymore and she has to support her family, so she goes for the job that she can only qualify for, and that is a caregiver for a man in a wheelchair, and she develops a relationship with this man. And many people have said that the movie trailer does give away the tone of the book. I can say that this book is really great. You fly right through it. You can develop with the relationship. You really love the characters. In many books, the family's glossed over. You don't get to see a lot of the relationship. But this book is one of the main focuses is the family, and I really liked that. This book also had a more darker tone than I thought it was going to be, which I also really liked, even though it made me cry. I don't know how I survived reading Clockwork Princess, then reading this. I don't know how I'm still alive right now. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below some books that you read for the last 2 months, and did you enjoy them? Did you hate them? See you soon. Bye.